Hey guys, so this is a quick guide on how to complete the raid flawlessly to get your flawless raider trophy the easiest and fastest possible way. So that means there will be some cheese being used, and this is done ideally with a Titan at level 32. You can do it with other characters, but for this particular guide I suggest you have a Titan. At the moment I'm just going through all the equipment that you find useful. So obviously you want to be a defender. To start off with, I tend to put Armour of Light on, but we'll be glitching it, so it's not that important. I picked the Multi-Tool because it increases your run speed significantly and makes the jumps much easier. The Helm of Saint-14 is really useful because it will blind any enemies that walk into your Ward of Dawn. Obviously the Gjallahorn is really useful. Again, you can do it without the Gjallahorn, but it's a bit more tricky, so if you've got it, then use it. And also I find quite useful is a heavy weapon that's got the surplus perk on it, so that every time heavy ammo drops you'll collect more ammo from it. Other things that are useful is definitely the Icebreaker and the Black Hammer are really helpful, particularly the Black Hammer because its white nail perk will instantly refill your magazine with bullets that are conjured out of thin air every time you hit 3 headshots or critical shots in a row, so that's excellent. Other than that, you can pick any armor you want. The other perk on the Helm of Saint-14 is obviously increased melee attack speed, which will be very useful for Crota. So it looks like we're about to kick off. You do have to start all the way from the beginning if you're going to do the Flawless Raider trophy, so if you get the glitch where you die when you hit the floor here, you'll have to exit out to the map and come back down again. So there's two ways of doing this, but for the purposes of trying to get a flawless run so you can get your trophy, we're going to do the fastest and easiest way, which is jumping off the rock behind the second lamp. If you don't want to do it that way, you can use your Ward of Dawn with Armour of Light and then punch enemies to get yourself through. Now, the trick to getting on here is try and get on top of the rock with some weight of darkness left, so that when it disappears, you've got plenty of time to get up. You don't want the weight of darkness appearing while you're mid-jump and pushing you back down. The trick to making that jump is to sprint just off the edge and then double tap X quickly, so sort of tap. If you do a slow tap of X, you don't actually go as high, and you'll find it quite hard to get up to the ledge. But if you do your tap right, then it's absolutely no problem. So follow the route that you've been seeing in the video. When you get to this lamp, there's a knight there. You don't have to kill him, but you've got plenty of time, and when you jump up, it means no other enemies will follow you here. So you've got all the time in the world. So I'm just getting my weight of darkness down to run on to the next ones. And as you can see with the Mida equipped, you do run a lot faster, which particularly if you want to do it the legitimate way, running from lamp to lamp and using your Ward of Dawn with Armour of Light on, really helps. With that strategy, the idea is that you're pretty much invincible in your bubble with Armour of Light on, and you can keep using your melee attack to kill Thrall while you're in it, and you should be able to kill enough Thrall to recharge or almost recharge your super, and then you just run on to the next lamp and keep going. Now for this bit, the enemies will start spawning when you run onto this plate, so what I try and do is activate the plate here, and then the little rock on the left there, I'm just going to jump onto that. When my weight of darkness has disappeared, I'm going to double jump across to this one here. You can stay on the first rock if you want, but I find this one's a bit safer. None of the enemies will get you here. There's a chance that exploding thralls can hit you on the lower rock. And again, here there's an ogre, just the one that's going to spawn. So if you've got a Black Hammer, you can take him down pretty easily. If you haven't, you can use an Icebreaker. If you're doing it on hard mode and he's a bit hard to take down, or you just, miss your shots, as long as you've got the increased duration of Ward of Dawn as one of your perks, you can simply just pop your Ward of Dawn up here and it will last long enough to protect you until the bridge is cleared. So obviously I'm not doing that in this case because we've managed to kill the ogre, but on hard mode, if you have trouble killing the ogre or anything, just wait till he pops out from where I'm shooting that Thrall there and then pop your Ward of Dawn, and that will last you easily until the bridge is formed, and then you can just run away. So this is pretty much the first section done. Doesn't take very long at all if you manage to get the jump. So the key points here are the Mida's really useful for the increased run speed and agility. It's got 2 agility perks on it. If you'd go for the flawless run, I suggest just trying to cheese by jumping off that lamp, or the rock behind the lamp rather, because it will be faster. And if you do die later on, you'll be saving yourself a lot of time. When you're doing that jump, make sure you've got some weight of darkness as you're getting onto the rock, and then you'll know as it disappears you can start jumping, which means you'll be guaranteed to get to the other side before the weight of darkness comes back. And then when you get to the end, run on the plate and then just jump on the first rock until your weight of darkness is gone, and then I jump onto the second, but don't feel like you have to. You can stay on the first rock if you want, but occasionally I get blown up by a thrall there. Now for this section there's multiple cheesing ways of doing it. With a Titan you can actually jump straight across with the sword without building the bridge, but I'm not particularly familiar with that way. So again, if you want to do without cheese, you can kill the sword bearer and just run on and off the plate, which is basically what I'll be doing, but the extra cheese that I'll be doing before I do that is jumping all the way up to the top of this tower that I'm next to, because when you're up there, the game doesn't register you as being in the map anymore, and so it assumes that you're on the other side, and so it'll despawn all the enemies, which just means you've got less aggro when you're building the bridge. You don't have to do this, you can kill the sword bearer and just deal with the enemies down below. Again, your Ward of Dawn with Armour of Light will make that pretty easy. But when you're going for a flawless run, I just find this way is a little bit safer, and the less times you have risk of dying, the more chance you'll have of finishing the whole raid. So you see there the enemies are despawning, so what I'm doing now is changing to my Word of Crota and the Icebreaker. Just because the Word of Crota is a hand cannon, which is my favourite weapon, and it does extra bonus to hive mages, and this sword bearer is a hive major. The other thing is that grenade, the sticky grenade, you managed to dodge it there, but I find that one really useful because if it does extra damage if you attach it to somebody and it explodes twice, so it does a lot of damage. Now basically when we're trying to build the bridge ourselves, we need to kill the sword bearer quite close to the platform there, because we don't want to be off the plate for too long in between running on and off, otherwise it won't build fast enough. So what I'm trying to do here is just lure him a little bit closer, and there we go. So he's close enough there. So you can do this in 2 run on off the bridges if you do it right, and then you've got more time with the sword on the other edge. But what I basically do is wait for the second whoosh sound, which is there, then I run off, back on again. Again, I wait for the second whoosh sound, and this time I'm going to sprint and get that sword. Now if you've done it right, the bridge will be formed here, but I was a bit off with my timing, so you just have to do this 2 more times. So you wait for the second whoosh, run off, and back on again, and then at the end of this time, which is the 4th time on the plate, it should be fully formed. As soon as you see that message, you can start jumping across the bridge because it will have solidified by the time you get there. If you've taken you 4 attempts to get across, then your sword's going to disappear pretty quick, whereas if you do it in 2, you'll have the sword for a bit longer and it'll just be nice to kill these enemies. Don't worry about the gatekeeper. The gatekeeper, you don't need to kill him, and sometimes he'll run off the edge, but he won't follow you up to where I am now either. This is my favourite spot for doing the next bit of the raid, i.e. killing all the enemies in the ogres, just because most of the enemies in the middle won't follow you up here. The ones you've got to watch out for is there's a hallowed wizard which will spawn and start shooting at you, and these 3 thralls which will respawn from that door where the ogre comes out of. So there's really not much to this bit. You've just got to be careful and keep an eye on that ogre door, because sometimes they come out really quickly. Usually you have to kill quite a few thralls and acolytes, and then you've got time to kill the wizard before the ogre comes out. But sometimes that ogre comes out what seems like straight away, and he'll catch you off guard and he'll kill you really quickly if you're not keeping an eye out for him. So I'm putting Weapons of Light on here just because I like to pop that when the ogres come, because it lets me kill them a bit faster. Again, you can use the Black Hammer here, but just because I'm not, I haven't got much ammo, and if I miss any of my shots I'm going to run out, I decided to stick with this. Change to the Defiant to take down this wizard. If this wizard is out and the ogre's not spawned, I do suggest you deal with them, because it'll just make it easier for you. So you don't want to be dealing with the ogre and getting shot by this wizard from the side. And the Abyss Defiant's quite nice for killing witches, or wizards, sorry, because it's got that perk on it. Well, it's solar damage, and so it'll do more damage to their shields, but it's also got that perk, as you can see, which has happened there, where it sort of causes them to become stunned. So so it means that they're a bit easier to kill for the most part. If you run too far up to the back, by the way, where the ogre spawns at that door, it will trigger those annihilator totems. I don't know why, but being too far back on this map here, the game still thinks that you're not here, and so it'll trigger them. So you can run back there, but don't stay there for too long, because it will kill you. So that wizard's down, which means that there's not really any other enemies that can bother me here except for those 3 thralls. So I'm feeling more confident and comfortable now. Still no ogre, so I'm just popping off a few more of these enemies. I'm not sure exactly what it is that causes them to trigger, but generally just keep killing people until they come. Oh, there he is. So, going to pop a Weapons of Light to get extra damage. Now, if you've got this on, it'll only take 6 critical hits to kill him. Of course, I've then gone and only got 2 or 4 critical hits. And obviously your bubble you can use to defend yourself. Now, this is the great thing about this bubble. Like, he goes blind as soon as he touches it, and he will stop attacking you, which is fantastic. So you can shoot him or melee him now that he's in here, and you're relatively safe. So that's one down. And then the next guy's pretty easy, because he won't shoot you from this far back. Occasionally he'll walk to the left, and you might have to reposition a bit to get hold of him. Oh, another thralls appeared. Deal with these guys. So you see he's disappeared off to the left, so if you jump on this rock here, you'll be able to just about catch the edge of his weak spot. There we go. And that's it. As soon as that second ogre's dead, you've finished this checkpoint and you're ready to move on. If you've got heavy ammo lying around here from the enemies you've killed, don't pick it up like that one there, just leave it. Because for the strategy that I suggest you use, you'll need 7 heavy rocket or Gjallahorn ammo to go into the next stage. That rocket pack there will give us 4 rockets when we pick it up, because it's dropped when we have the surplus perk on. So what I do here, going a bit fast, sorry, is I snipe that shrieker and then retreat out of the room to avoid the death blasts. We're not going to go for that speed chest at the end in a flawless run, because it's a bit risky, especially with one person. So what we're going to do to shoot the second one is, there's a rock just in front of me where that thrall is, which we're going to jump on top of. Make sure you've got 6 icebreaker rounds. Jump on top of it and then just snipe it until it's dead. If you don't manage to jump on top of it, you can always retreat and let your health and stuff recharge. There's no penalty to doing so. And then, as you see, I've just retreated back to all these death blasts. So now both the invisible walls are down, we can get to the end. But what I'm going to do first is make sure my Gjallahorn has got maximum bullets, which is 7. So I've got 3 in the chamber already. So because I had surplus on when that dropped, this should give me 4 rockets. Yeah, there we go. I'm just going to pick up some of that sniper ammo as well, because I've changed to the black hammer. You know, some people prefer Fatebringer, some people prefer Word of Crota. I think for this bit, Fatebringer is definitely better, because there's so many low level or low health enemies clustered together. But after this, I prefer the Word of Crota because of the bonus damage it does. So what I'm doing here is I'm jumping in the air and then gliding slightly, and that's all you've got to do really. It's pretty safe for the most part. Because as soon as you get through this door frame here, it will despawn all the enemies. Then you hit the next checkpoint. Do remember to jump before you hit the bottom here, because I have died from landing straight down. Now there's lots of different strategies for doing this bit. If you're feeling confident, you can kill the witch as you go in to lure them out. But I think that's a little bit risky, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to go in, run round to lure out this wizard on this side. Now, some people will stay on this side and kill the wizard here and the shrieker before moving over to the other side, but I'm jumping over to the opposite side first. The reason being is if you're trying to get the flawless rated trophy, I find that coming over here, luring out this wizard second, before you kill the other wizard, gives the enemies on that left side where we just came from time to run down to the ground floor, so they won't all be mobbing the doorway when you get back. Now, it'll take exactly 2 Gjallahorn hits if all the Wolfpack rounds hit them as well to kill the wizard, as you can see there. You know, if there's other enemies around the wizard, you know, you might need to do a few shots with some of the other weapons as well. But you'll see that most of the enemies that were crowded around that door are now underneath me. When you get here, if there's still 2 knights in the room, just deal with them. Just shoot them, kill them, get rid of them, lure them out, whatever. If they refuse to come out of the room, what I'd suggest you do is throw a grenade down, like I am there, because that will keep the knight sort of stationary and distracted long enough for you to jump and shoot that Shrieker. Get straight out of the room, keep jumping, and then head over to the other side. That's the hardest side to do. You can pretty much shoot this Shrieker from the door frame without too many problems. Yeah, see there's no enemies here to bother. Again, retreat to the back of the map up here is pretty safe to avoid the death blasts. I'm going to use a heavy ammo synth here. Again, this is not entirely necessary. You can kill the Death Singer with other weapons like the Black Hammer, but I find this the safest way. So until she starts her liturgy, I wouldn't bother running in, because it's so much easier to kill her when she's stationary, and you will have plenty of time to do so. So again, I was just checking that I had Weapons of Light on. So what we're going to do is, until she goes into the liturgy, we're just going to stay here and take out as many of the enemies as we can, especially the knights if we can get hold of them. The grenades again work quite well on them. What we're going to do is we're going to go in, as soon as we see where the Death Singer is, we're going to pop our Ward of Dawn right in front of her, and then I'm just going to jump out of the top and keep shooting rockets at her until she's dead. And that's really all it is, and it's a very safe method. You know, you don't have to do that, you know, with other classes, or if you haven't got a Helm of Saint-14, you can, you know, jump on door frames and things. But anyway, so she started a liturgy, so I'm running in, all those enemies that were behind me were blinded, just jumping out of the top, and shooting her, which is a pretty safe method. Maybe 1 or 2 more rockets should do it. Like I said, you can step out the bubble and use snipers and other guns if you want, but as I've got the ammo, I'm just going to do that. As soon as she's down, you just exit the room. Any Gjallahorn ammo you've got left, I tend to just pop it into that big crowd of enemies there. And well, here just comes the grindy part. Because you're trying for a flawless trophy, unfortunately you can't get the checkpoint and then just kill yourself to get rid of the rest of the enemies. You've got to deal with each and every one of them. Black Hammer comes into its own on this stage. As you can see, you know, it makes relatively short work of the Hallowed Knights, as long as you can get the headshots on. The early things you've got to watch out for this stage is there's probably going to be 1 or 2 Boomer Knights down here, so just keep an eye out for them, because they can, you know, they'll kill you quite quickly actually if you get in their way. The other thing is sometimes you'll see knights sort of glitching in walls or doing like rapid crouch animations. If you see that, then just pay attention to the centre of the platform on my right where Crota spawns, because 9 times out of 10 they'll disappear and reappear next to you. I think that might have just happened actually, but we'll see. If it happens, I'll let you know. Oh, yep, there's one who's just teleported up here. I'm not sure where he teleported from, but you've just got to keep an eye on them because they do this a lot. Oh, and another one's literally just appeared there as well. Just call that out of the corner of my eye. And yeah, you don't want to leave any of these Hallowed Knights hanging around in the centre of the bridge for the Crota fight. The last thing you want is to jump up and find that there's a Hallowed Knight still here from this section of the raid, so just definitely make sure you've dealt with all of them. I'm not sure what exactly triggers the checkpoint. Some people have said it's killing all the enemies that are inside when the Death Singer phase starts. I've had times where I've killed every enemy except for 1, and it's taken until all the enemies are dead and me to walk into the centre chamber where the crystal is to get the checkpoint. And then I've had other occasions where we've literally run out after killing the Death Singer and we've got the checkpoint without running into the middle. So I don't know. It's kind of irrelevant on a flawless run because we're going to have to kill them all anyway, as I said. Just clearing up enemies here. It's not really that exciting to watch, but there you go. Just don't think there's anything else to say. That's about it really. When you think you've got most of the enemies, I tend to jump up to the other side platform because the radar shows me there's a guy underneath me. If you pick up any heavy ammo, just waste it. Well, not waste it, but feel free to use it all up on the enemies because we're going to be using the heavy ammo glitch before we fight Crota. to make sure we've got a nice healthy supply of heavy ammo to deal with that stage of the raid. So I've picked up some ammo, so I'm literally just using it basically. Because you're going to have to empty it anyway to do the heavy ammo glitch, so you might as well empty it on an enemy rather than just into a wall or something. Oh, those guys surprised me a bit. Didn't realise they were there. They must have come out the door downstairs. I think we've mostly cleared out quite a few of the enemies outside. I think these are the last 3 people outside, and then we can start pushing away into the crystal room again. Grenade, and then headshot. No. Attempted headshot, missed. Oh, some more heavy ammo. That seems to be very generous with the heavy ammo at the moment. You can run through this and get no heavy ammo drops at all. But, I'll take it. Oh, there's another one there. Oh. Right, well this will make the inside bit that little bit faster. I've still got weapons of light which I could use here, but because I think we're nearly done, I'm just keeping it as you can set it. I'll explain why I like to have it for the beginning of the next stage in a sec. Let's deal with these knights. Do keep an eye out for the doors in this area, because occasionally hallowed knights will respawn out of the side doors. So just keep an eye on your radar after you've done sniping, to make sure that nobody's coming from behind you. I think that knight there, for example, just run out of the side door. I think we're definitely nearly there. There's maybe 1 or 2 acolyte, 2 knights there, I think. That was a terrible grenade throw. Oh, and now they're hiding. Oh, I can see that. Oh, he's on low health as well. See, the Wood of Crota actually does 1,000 damage with the headshot, because it's 600 critical hit and then the plus 400 bonus damage approximately. So that should be it. Oh, there we go. So the central room's opened, and that's the end. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just picking up any stray primary ammos that are lying around, because I don't want to accidentally run over it in the next stage. So this part is just basically preparation for the heavy ammo glitch. The heavy ammo glitch, if you don't know, is a glitch that means that pretty much every enemy you kill while doing the glitch will drop you a heavy ammo pack. The way to do it is you'll need an icebreaker, or I think is it the effective, just some secondary weapon that respawns ammo. You need to empty all of your primary and all of your heavy ammo, and then when you make kills with your secondary, pretty much every enemy that you kill with your secondary will drop you a heavy ammo box. I'm just running around here, by the way, just to double check that I've not left any stray enemies hanging around. If you're I'm doing it now. If you're doing it with a team and you've got the Word of Crota, I tend to leave 1 mag in the clip and 2 mags in reserve. So it's a 12-round gun. So that's 12 rounds in the gun and 24 rounds in reserve. The reason being is, and this is more important when you're doing it with a team, is that if everyone's doing the glitch at different speeds, you don't want it to refill your primary ammo before you're ready to do the glitch, which it will do if your ammo gets too low. So as soon as you stand on the plate, start emptying the remaining 3 clips, the 1 in your mag and the 2 in reserve. And by now you'll see that I've basically just about to fill my heavy ammo. Good. So I've just got Icebreaker ammo now. So what I'm going to do is pop a thing with Blessings of Light on, which will keep my health at full, and just basically just shoot these enemies as fast as you can. You'll see that they're all dropping absolutely loads of heavy ammo, and I didn't point it out before, but you might have spotted I've changed back to my corrected measure rather than Gjallahorn before I did this, because the corrected measure's got the surplus perk on, which means that every one of these ammo drops here will give me 4 rockets. So if we add all that up, we've probably got like a good, by the time I'm finished, a good 100 rockets to pick up, which means you're never going to be short of ammo. So you can waste your ammo on the sword bearer if you need to. You can use ammo on basically to kill anyone you want, because you can always come back in here and pick more up, and you'll have plenty to spare if you've done this glitch right. At some point you should change back to your normal weapons. It hasn't respawned any of my ammo yet, which is a bit unusual. But if you wait long enough, it will refill all your clips to maximum. I'm getting a bit impatient and I want to kill this guy, so I've just decided to skip waiting for the auto refill and pick up some ammo on the floor here so I can kill him. But yeah, so with 2 packs there, I've got full 7 ammo. And now we're ready to kill Crota. Now again, there's lots of different strategies for Crota. 1 sword, 2 swords, 3 swords, left, right. With Gjallahorn, without Gjallahorn, using solar grenades, using heavy machine guns. I've seen quite a lot of them. You can kill them in 1 sword with I think all the classes now. I recently saw a Hunter video, but this is a flawless attempt, so we're just going to play it safe, but try and do it, reasonably quickly. So pick up the chalice, get 1 or 2 hits on the sword bearer. 9 times out of 10 he will follow you down this right side, but not this time. Now what I should have done here is jumped on this rock in front of me and shot him from there, but I missed it, so I was a bit lucky here, because he got hit on me. So I'm going, oh no. So because I've got so much heavy ammo, I'm going to just take my Gjallahorn out and use that to get rid of most of his health. And I'm going to use right strategy, so we're going to jump up to this rock on the right. Swinging there will get you faster. So jump up here, try and keep Crota in view while you're changing so that he doesn't run to the back. As soon as you fire your second rocket, jump out. Now, I'm doing 4 R1 slashes and an R2 each time. Some people will suggest you do 3 R2s, and I think that does do a bit more damage, but it also gives you less flexibility. So if you're a bit slow on getting up there, you can still get your 4 R1s and an R2 in, whereas if you only get 2 R2s because you missed the third because you were a bit behind schedule, you'll have lost out on a lot of damage. So that's the reason why I'm doing the R1s and an R2 there. And if you do 2 sets of R1s and R2s on him there, he'll be less than half health and you'll get him down in 2 swords, which I think we managed to do there. So that was a total of 6 R1s and 2 R2s, and look, he's already less than half health. So I've come back in here just to pick up some more heavy ammo, but now I'm going to run straight back to the middle and sort of hide underneath where Crota is. Crota, I think it's about a minute for him to rotate from the right back to the middle, so just have either put it on a timer or just, just think in your head and get used to the timing, which is what I do. When you think he's getting ready to move, that's the time to start taking down the sword bearer. And ideally, you want to take the sword bearer down as near that back wall as possible, because that will give you less distance to run with the sword, and therefore you'll have more time with the sword. So here he is. So I reckon Crota's about to start moving, so I chuck a grenade and 3 headshots will get him, if you hit all 3, which I didn't. You don't really want the sword bearer running any closer to you than that. So again, jumping up, R1ing to the corner, jump straight up here, keep Crota in sight, good. Right, and then we're going to jump up, so 4 R1s, sorry, and R2, swing back to platform. Here, while I'm reloading, I'm just moving to the left so that he keeps looking at me and doesn't move to the back of his platform, so he won't be able to hit me because there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and an R2, and he finished without even having to deal with ogres. I would say if you haven't got 2 perfect sword runs there, don't rush and don't panic, just get away safely, because you can go and kill the ogres. To do that, just run to the back, where you dropped into the area at the start of the Death Singer stage, and just snipe them safely from a distance. Like I said, you can have a look at lots of other strategies for doing the Crota fight, but I find that that's the safest method of doing it. So that's that really. I hope you guys have good luck trying to get your Flawless Raider trophies. I think this effort was just over 27 minutes. So it doesn't really, that whole effort does not take you long, and if you do it that way you'll have plenty of time to try it. Thanks.